2024 was a year that defied all expectations in the financial markets, from AI breakthroughs to crypto milestones. As the year comes to a close, let's see what happened over this past year and what might happen in the next year. Let's begin. Let's start out with the general market performance of 2024. The S&P 500 delivered an exceptional over 25% returns. When compared to the last few decades, it was actually one of the best performing years. Even the Canadian market followed with an impressive 20% gains. Even with all the wars and the tensions in the Middle East, the election, the Japanese yen carry trade, the market did incredibly well. For investors, there were many valuable lessons this year. However, the market does what it does best, that is go up. The macro matters a lot. However, the market can adapt very quickly and continue going onwards as it did this year. When it comes to individual companies, there were so many companies that did so well this year. But first, let's look at the Mag 7 companies. Nvidia did incredible. It posted over 180% returns this year because of its continued AI chip dominance. AI continues to be a key driver of the Mag 7 companies, and they are all doing incredibly well and riding the AI hype so far. This is true for Amazon, Alphabet, and Microsoft as well. Their cloud growth has been incredibly strong because of all the AI demands. Amazon was up over 50% this year, Alphabet over 40%, and Microsoft has been a steady performer with around 20% gains this year. One of my favorite companies of this year was actually Amazon, because I hold a big position and they were completely away from all the drama that Google and Microsoft was wrapped up in. Google faced so many problems because of their AI releases as well as all the pressures from the DOJ. On the other hand, we had Microsoft with all their OpenAI drama, even though they have such a strong partnership with them. So they were gaining and kind of losing along with them. But overall, it was a win-win for all these companies. Then we also have Meta posting over 70% gains and Apple posting around 40% gains. Both of them have been consistently growing their businesses. So all these companies are great. They have been great investments for this year. One company, however, Tesla, was a roller coaster this year. It faced so many challenges, from their car sales to the elections to Elon Musk being so polarizing this year. However, they ended up closing the year around $450 a share, up around 80%. This was a real test for all the Tesla stockholders out there. So if you held on to your stock, congratulations. There were also some other companies that did incredibly well and posted outsized returns. Let's look at two of them. The first is Palantir Technologies. They posted over 380% returns this year. They have been called the Messi of AI and they have strong demand for their AI platform. This is a company that I have been invested in for a very long time. I recently made a full video talking about this. Feel free to check that one out. Then the next company I want to talk about is actually MicroStrategy. Yes, this one is quite polarizing as well. They posted over 400% returns thanks to their Bitcoin investment strategy. So what do you think is going to happen to these companies in 2025? Only time will tell, but if I had to bet my money, I would not be investing in these two companies right now. I think they are quite overvalued right now, even if they are good companies. Well, technically speaking, Palantir is a great company and MicroStrategy is just a proxy for Bitcoin. When it comes to Bitcoin, I believe in buying pure for Bitcoin and not investing in these companies. So there are lots and lots of companies that you should be watching out for. There are several other companies that are also doing incredibly well this year. Make sure you keep an eye on them. So this is great, but what's going to happen to these companies in 2025? Only time will tell. However, I'm being a little more cautious just because of how much gains we have seen in 2023 and 2024. I'll address this in a bit, but first let's look at what's happening with commodities. Commodities as a whole is doing incredibly well this year. Gold is posting all-time highs after all-time highs, and even silver is doing incredibly well. And even Bitcoin, which is largely considered a commodity now, has posted over 150% returns this year. So again, this year has been quite bullish for all the markets. Even if you look at all the other markets around the world, they have been posting all-time highs after all-time highs. Whether it's Europe, the UK, Japan, India, or even Canada, all of them have done incredibly well. There's also a lot of talk about the real estate market. It's quite overvalued in a lot of places, however, it's still been doing pretty well. The US housing market has shown continued strength. National home prices rose 4% year over year. The Canadian housing market, on the other hand, has shown some mixed signals, but overall it's been steady. Real estate is something that you should definitely watch out in 2025. This will be a great indicator for where all the markets are headed this year. Something I recommend you look at is the 18.6-year real estate cycle. If this is accurate, we are in the winner's curse of this cycle and we might see a downfall pretty soon. Now, this rewind of 2024 is incomplete without talking a bit about crypto and Bitcoin. I would say there were three historic milestones this year for Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. Firstly, the markets have been doing incredibly well. Bitcoin has hit an all-time high after all-time high this year. There are also several other cryptos that have done so well this year. But if I had to highlight three historic events that happened this year, it'll be these three. The first historic moment this year was the Bitcoin ETFs being launched in the US. The US is the biggest market in the world, and it was incredible to see Bitcoin ETFs being launched there. So far, they have been performing so well. The US Bitcoin ETFs surpassed gold ETFs in assets under management at 129 billion. The second historic event that happened was actually the ETH ETFs being launched. This was actually quite unexpected and it came suddenly. However, everybody took it as a huge win in the crypto industry. And finally, the biggest news was Bitcoin surpassing over $100,000 this year. This was long awaited and a lot of people, including me, celebrated this milestone. So what happens to crypto and Bitcoin in 2025? If you had to ask me, I would say that this is going to continue into 2025. We'll see all-time highs for a lot of different altcoins and even new all-time highs for Bitcoin. Right now, we may be going through a little bit of consolidation phase for Bitcoin. However, I think the market's going to return with full force in 2025. The main reason for this is going to be the next topic we are going to talk about, and that is interest rates. The Federal Reserve in the US began its pivot with 3 interest rate cuts in 2024, bringing rates to 4.5%. Looking forward to 2025, the Fed is projecting only 2 rate cuts, totaling 50 basis points. Even the Bank of Canada started cutting interest rates earlier this year and has been doing so aggressively. Even the other banks around the world have been doing the same. So this is great for the markets in 2025. However, we might see some concerns regarding the economy as the year progresses. I'll be watching interest rates and what happens to the economy quite closely in 2025 so that I can hold on to a good investment thesis. Of course, I'll be making a lot more videos about these topics in 2025, so please don't forget to subscribe. And finally, 2024 is incomplete without talking a bit about what's happening with AI and technology in general. In 2024, we have seen the AI revolution accelerating beyond any expectations that people had. Nvidia's dominance in the chip manufacturing, enterprise adoption reaching new highs, cloud providers expanding AI capabilities. These are just some of the things that are happening in the market. I believe these trends are going to continue very strongly in the next year. For those who don't know, I also work in the AI domain and I'm seeing incredible things happening in this space. It's actually going to have a profound impact on the companies that are adopting AI and the economy as a whole. If I had to bet my money, well, it's not a question of if. I am betting my money on the AI hype. I believe the hype is real and it's going to continue for a while. Will we see a pop in this AI bubble is something that nobody can say. However, I would say do not miss out on the opportunities that are so obvious right now. But at the same time, be incredibly careful. When things are too obvious, it can get overhyped quite quickly and we might see a downfall sometime in the future. In one of my previous videos, I spoke about all the different tiers of AI investing and something I recommend you check out. In that video, I also mentioned how crypto and AI are going to get entangled and we might see a much bigger bubble in both the asset classes. So that was a quick and dirty rewind of 2024, everything that I was paying attention to and everything that I gained from. And now, a message to all the investors and my viewers out there. Firstly, as we close 2024, I want to thank all the viewers who have returned and watched my videos again and again. My channel is not that big, however, I really like making these videos and I'm very thankful that you are watching these. When it comes to investing, here's what I'll be doing in 2025. Firstly, in the first half of 2025, I'm going to look for opportunities. Any dips in the market for me are going to be buying opportunities. I'll keep a very buy the dip mentality in the first half of 2025. But as we enter the second half of 2025, I'm going to get more and more cautious. I'll be watching out for some exit points in some of my investments. Again, this is very closely related to the 18.6-year cycle that I mentioned earlier in the video. Please check it out. 2024 was a great year for me and I've taken some profits along the way and I want to do more of that in 2025. One more thing that I want you to take into 2025 is to stop believing blindly in mainstream media. They were doing things all over the place this year and if we would have listened to them, we would have lost out on so much gains. In the past, I've covered these topics quite extensively in dedicated videos. The reason I keep mentioning this over and over again is because I really want people to understand that mainstream media is not there to help them. It's not there to make them money. It's basically there to take your attention away from your goals. Talking about goals, I want to mention one last thing. Focus on becoming a much better version of yourself when it comes to investing and otherwise as well. Put some time into learning more things. Put some time into learning about fundamental analysis, technical analysis, how to vet companies, how to make more money, how to invest your money, how to save more money. Try to do all of this in the next year. Start as soon as possible and continue your path forward properly. The last few years, and especially 2023 and 2024, has actually taught us to be independent thinkers when it comes to investing. And learning to do proper analysis when it comes to investing is very, very important for your success. Do not forget that. Anyway, that's all for this video. Here's to a prosperous 2025. I'll see you next week and next year in a new video. Till then, keep learning and stay on top of your finances. Until next time.